Hello, welcome back to Art School. Today we're going to finally be back to combat and defending. So with defending, just like with attacking, there are 5 basic moves to block the 5 basic attacks. Now I'll be teaching you both arms, both legs and the head. As said before in previous video, headshots are generally not permitted, but it's always good to know how to defend properly against one, should somebody be cheeky enough to try such things. So we'll start with that one right now. And what you're going to want to do is basically hold the sword up with one hand, lock the wrist, and have it at around a 90-degree angle. So if somebody taps, it is going to give slightly, but you're just putting the power into the wrist to make sure that when it does hit, it's not going to come back round and, you know, smack you in the head. So you just want to lock the wrist while the hit's happening, just to give it that strength behind. You can push forward during an attack as well. It's not recommended, as this can damage your weapon as well as the attacker's weapon, but it's each to their own. Add a bit of flair, do a bit of something different, why not? So that's your basic head attack. Now, I would say that this is probably the one exercise where having a second person available is handy, just because then you've got somebody who can go down and attack, so to test the strength in the wrist there. On your own it's very hard, you know, you can say yes, yeah, I've got it, yeah, locked, boom, but then you get into a real combat and you just, you get schooled, son. So if you have got somebody at hand, then use them. If not, I'd say use your other hand, so use your free hand to lock your wrist and then just literally smack the weapon and try and hit yourself with it, really. If you do hit yourself, you're not locked it well enough, but it's one of those things where practice makes perfect, and you can roll out the wrist, you know, limber it up, get it good and ready. So that's your head attack. Now for the arms, it's very simple. It's simply to the side, easy as that. Again, you know, you want to make sure your lock is locked. No, but your wrist. You want to make sure your wrist is locked, because if a sword comes in here, you know, the weapon could come back and hit you again. So that's the main thing that we'll be practicing, is locking the wrist to make sure that even with a hit coming in, you know, your wrist can do well. But with arm attacks it's very easy. You just have the sword, so if this was a normal sword, so it's like this, it'd be your hands for a two-handed, slightly lower, but the blade covering the entire width of the body and slightly to the side, because there's no point going all the way out here, because you can get hit in here. But if it's close to your body, they can come in here, they'll get hit, they can come in long from the side, you're still going to block it. So you're covering the best angles there by keeping it closer to the body rather than having it out, because you're just leaving more body open. And same for the other side, so it'd be down on this side, close to the body, lock the wrist, make sure it's a nice strong pose, and nothing should break through that unless they go for the other arm or whatever. So let me move this chair out of the way. I do apologise, but the grass is rather wet, which is why we're not practicing on the grass. Now for the legs, it's very, very simple. Very much like the arm, it's simply down. So it'd be where your hand is there, literally you just want to let the weapon fall down like that. And this is the reenactment side of things. I'll be going through in another episode more stylised, more flary kinds of defences, but this is your basic defence. So you can lock the wrist again, they can go and hit. Now two-handed, it's going to be awkward because you're going to be like that. So that doesn't work for two-handed, but for a one-handed weapon, it's down, and again just sweep across for defence on the other side as well. And the reason that it's just like that is once you've learned to lock it like that, it's so easy just to go between all the blocks like so. It's practice. That is the main thing with this. It's all about practice. The more you practice with the blade, the better you will become with it. And with these basic defences, you can then move off onto different things. So next time what we'll have a look at is the flair, some of the how to put a good look into your technique, and a couple of games as well to play. I'll give you a game that you can play now. If you've got more, it can be 2 people. Ideally this works better with 5 or 6, and it's called the Circle of Death. So what happens is 2 players go in with a blade, and it's basically the first 3 hits on the other person, and once that person's out, the next person runs in, and it keeps going like that. And that's just the basic way that you can practice all of your attacks, all of your defences and stuff like that. As for flair, a quick tip before the next episode is a very, very simple arm block. If you're playing a big, Nordic hero, a good defence is always the blade going the other way, because it just looks so cool. It's like, yep, come get some, you son of a bitch. And when you do look like this, you can use the leg work that we learned in the first episode to bounce. And when you bounce, you can see the blade. It's covering pretty much, if I go for it, 180 degrees of our body. So that's pretty much 1/2 of the field covered. Top half, easy. Now they can go for the arm, but you can also move just as quick to block that. So I hope you found this helpful. Next time is going into the flair. We're going to put some oomph behind the basics, and we're going to make it look good, we're going to make it effective, and we're going to have fun. That's the main #1 thing. When doing this, have fun doing it. You only learn once. But until then, until the next time, take care, goodbye for now.